everyone, and welcome to Monday, April 4th, 2016's General Hospital recap. Oh my goodness, it's been a week I've been gone. If you didn't watch the video I uploaded, I lost power. It literally was restored 5 minutes ago. It's 7:05 on Saturday the 9th. I was literally just restored. Oh my goodness. So let's get to it. These first two will be uploaded tonight on Monday and Tuesday. I watched a few minutes of Wednesdays, so I'm going to get the rest up tomorrow. So stay tuned. Everyone will be up till Monday. My throat, imagine it's 50 degrees in my house and has been for 6 days, so I'm a tad bit ill, but we're gonna power through, okay? Sounds good? Alright, 1 second. So at the park, in the outside, in the sun, Maxie is having an issue with Nathan's lying, and she asks if he was married when they met, and he says no, and he wants her to hear him out about this whole thing. So a few years ago in New York, there was a bar and a girl walked up and she started a conversation, and she was different and French Canadian and funny and had a lure, and they went out and it went well, and he asked her to marry him on their second date. And when I say their second date, I mean their literal second date. So Claudette wanted to do New York touristy stuff, and apparently this was a red flag for Nathan, and she wanted to go to the Bronx Zoo, and I've been there, and she wanted to do all this other stuff, she was checking boxes off her list, and her visa was about to expire, and he married her so she could stay in the country. So it started as a marriage of convenience, and then it turned out she was cheating on him the whole time, and he was just a green card to her, and it killed their marriage because he had actually fallen in love with her, and that's when the annulment happened, and he has no idea what happened to her. So Maxie's you did a good thing, and you had to know I wouldn't have held that against you, so why not tell me more? Is there more to this? There has to be more of this. And he's like, yeah, there is. So he's like, I was so ashamed of myself, and I should have known that you wouldn't have held it against me. And he's like, it was Claudette's glove that you found in my pocket, so that brought her name back into my head, and then I was drugged, and I only love you, Maxie, and there's no more secrets. Okay, I'll believe it when I see it. By the way, I don't. At Crimson, Curtis is about to tell who's sabotaging Crimson, and Julian's like, I thought I told you to let this go, and she's like, no, and Curtis suggests that they do this in private, and she's like, no, he should know who's sabotaging his magazine, right? Yeah. And Nina, right before Curtis says it, she figures out it was Julian. And then it just, hilarity. I loved it. It was, my favorite part. So Nina's throwing stuff at him. It's actually really funny. It happens mostly off camera. And the Curtis is watching and, shaking his head. And I'm like, this is the best. And then Curtis just, backs to the elevator, you know what? I'm done here. So finally, there's a little bit of conversation, and Julian says he needed the tax write-off, and she's like, so you hired me to kill the magazine, but I surpassed expectations. And I would like to mention that she has her shoe in her hand this whole time, and she finally puts her shoe back on. Just a little tidbit. So Nina's like, I'm gonna call the police on you, and he's like, no, don't do that. And she's like, you committed fraud, taking money from advertisers for a magazine that was never intended to print, so it's 900 counts of fraud. And he says that if she turns him in, the advertisers will lose faith and kill the magazine. And she's like, no, it'll make me a hot commodity because I persevered. And he's like, what do you want? And I'm like, yes, you got him right where you want him, Nina. So Nina wants Julian to give her Crimson, and he's like, okay, I can't do that because the IRS will be like, what's up? But I can offer you at a good price. And she wants full control, and she wants him to write significantly larger checks, but that he has no control in the magazine. And he tries to cut her down, and she's like, no, I can do fine on my own. And I'm like, I love this Nina. At the hospital, Franco offers to help Liz find a place, and he suggests she move in with Jason because why? I stirring the pot, Franco, just stirring the pot. So Dr. Finn approaches Elizabeth. Franco and Dr. Finn have their first encounter, and it's they talk about the bearded dragon for a hot second, nothing said, and I don't know, some people were disappointed. I was like, I don't care. So Dr. Finn wants to schedule an MRI for Tracy Quartermain, and Elizabeth's like, you're not on the list, and Oprah comes over, and she's like, yeah, he's been added to the list, and MRI can be ordered. I'm so happy about this. So Franco, like, I'm like, what's your issue telling her to stay with Jason? But Elizabeth is like, I can do this on my own. I have enough chutzpah on my own. I can do this. And he's like, I'm proud of you. And you know what, Elizabeth? I'm proud of you too. She doesn't say chutzpah. That's my word. So I have to cough. One sec. All right. So Dr. Finn checks in with Tracy. She's doing better with treatment and she wants to leave. And he's like, we don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. And you may still have a seizure. And she really likes him. I'm so glad they have each other. So they're playing Monopoly. Tracy's winning, and she asks how he can devote himself to a single patient. And he's like, "Well, I have other research projects going on, so whatever." And she thanks him again for saving her life. Now in Pentonville, this is where it gets really interesting. Okay, so Sam and Jason visit Shawn, and Sam suggests an idea of who would want to kill Rachel. Not Hayden, Rachel. So Shawn, yay Shawn! So Shawn does feel horrible that he tried to shoot Jason. And Sam fills Shawn in on who Hayden really is and their theory of a second shooter. And he's like, you're not the first to come to me with that theory. Hayden Barnes herself came to me with that theory and brought up that she may have been the attendant victim. And Sam is shocked. She gets that face I get when I'm like on the couch. I'm like, what? Like, are you hearing this? And meanwhile, there's no one next to me, where she had Jason next to her, so it made a lot more sense. So he says Hayden wanted proof that, she was shot and that she came before Thanksgiving. And then Shawn wants to talk to Jason for a hot second, and he tells Jason, the floor fell out from under him when he found out who Jake Doe was, that it was him. And Jason says, like, sometimes things happen for a reason. Maybe there's a reason you didn't get a clear shot. I'm like, has anyone ever been that gracious about being shot at, like, in the history of forever? And yes, I am Eeyore. Just, it's cold. It's 50 degrees. Oh, it's 52. Oh, fancy. So in Nicholas's Metro courtroom, Hayden is about to drop the bomb, and she recounts the day in the spring of, her being shot, and Nicholas is like, Shawn pled guilty, and she's like, haha, no, there was another hitman, the one you sent to have me killed, and I'm like, so much yes right now. So Nick's like, that's a good story, but that's all it is, and Hayden's like, haha, actually, I overheard you and Laura talking about it, and I went looking for proof, and I found it. So she says that he's going to stop the divorce and play the doting husband and sign ELQ over to her. And he's like, you'll lose everything if I expose you. And she's like, yeah, but you'll also expose yourself and you have a lot more to lose. So he's like, I hope you're happy. You got everything you wanted. That's why you want to stay married to me. You still love me. And he's like, if you blackmail me and force me to stay in this marriage, we have no chance of rebuilding. And she's like, well, there's nothing to rebuild anyway. So she'll wait for him at home, be home at 7, and then Elizabeth comes in, and Hayden tells Elizabeth she's no longer welcome at Windermere. So as soon as she leaves the room, she breaks a little bit because this really is hard for her. I like how Hayden is multidimensional. She's not like, just the con artist or just the woman in love. Like she has dimension now, and I really like that about her. So Nicholas tells Elizabeth that she walked in on his ruin, and normally I would say way to be dramatic, but this is like legit, and I've kind of been really dramatic this week, so those who do cannot judge. So he tells Elizabeth what happened with Hayden, and he's not going to the police, and he's not letting either of them either because accessory after the fact. Back at the park, Hayden is meeting with Curtis. She wants to make sure he has his own copies of everything, and she wants him to put it somewhere safe. She says she needs an insurance policy in case something happens with her copies, and, because she had to show her hand, and I just think this is so funny I keep thinking of like a dead man switch or something like that. Especially with what's going on. I mean, I'm still a week behind on news, so, anyway, I want to get in that air. And Curtis doesn't want her to go back to Windermere alone. So now end scene. He says, Nathan, no. Julian, I'm trying to figure out who the he is. So Julian's like, Nina, we'll make this arrangement work for now, but if you come after me again, all bets are off. And then Maxie comes in and she sees the mess, and Nina fills her in and is like, let's get champagne. Nathan calls Obrecht and tells her to be careful around Maxie. Apparently, he still didn't tell Maxie everything about Claudette. Like, what more could there be? There's a kid, isn't there? There's totally a kid. Oh, there has to be a kid. Anyway. Jason says someone was trying to kill Hayden, not Rachel. Elizabeth wants to know what Nicholas has in mind for Hayden, and she doesn't want him to kill her. Not for any of Hayden's sake, but mostly for Nicholas's. Hayden doesn't want to leave Nicholas unsupervised, so Curtis is going to stick with her. And Dr. Finn is walking Tracy around, and Tracy has a nosebleed and seizes. It's very sudden, and it's very scary. All right, that is it for Monday's General Hospital recap. I'm going to get work on Tuesdays, probably right now, or get this uploaded and on, and then get Tuesdays going. I will see you in about 5 minutes for more General Hospital. I hope you have a great day. Bye!